Well, there's a lot of people, they have a house and they have an extra, $25, $50, $100,000 that's not invested in the market, let's say, but they're like, oh, I could go buy another house, but they're thinking, I don't want to go buy another house. That's a lot of work. Yeah. That's a lot of risk. Mortgage payments and real estate taxes. And what if the tenant moves out? All those things are keeping people from not investing in real estate. And we're trying to make it easy.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Houston, we are clear for launch. What is up, guys, and welcome to How to Invest in Commercial Real Estate.
What's going on?
Well, an eventful weekend. I think we should start out with maybe a moment of silence for OU.
Yeah, I think we should, man. Rest in peace.
49
Sooners.
Go Pokes, though.
Yeah, that was a much better game, at least interesting. Both teams scored, being the first one.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but OU was the only FBS team not to score a point this last weekend. The only team that got shut out.
And we haven't lost 3 games and haven't been shut out in almost 25 years.
Yeah. I was thinking, I heard 65 or something, but.
Oh, well, could be. It's bad. We're setting records.
Yeah. In the wrong way.
Well, this weekend we had some eventful news down in Georgia. I got sent a video this morning of somebody. We'll play it here in a second, but somebody's literally just crashing into our building. I mean,
it's a big parking lot too. They got to drive. And it's empty. Yeah. The parking lot's empty at
the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, 1 a.m. So they literally have to drive like a couple blocks through an empty parking lot just to hit our building with their car.
That's hard to do.
I was actually impressed. I was watching it this morning, how fast a curb, a little bit of pole scrape, and storefront glass can shut down a moving vehicle. I mean, when you think about it.
I mean, he hit pretty hard, what I noticed is after you look at it, he doesn't even have a tire on the right side. The tire just is off to the side. It ripped the whole tire off.
Yeah.
The whole wheel, I mean.
It was nasty. So just joys of real estate, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. The car is insured. We'll get the building fixed. The insurance will pay for it. But this is just, one of the joys of owning real estate. Every now and then, a U-Haul truck just drives through your front door.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed. I mean, we've got.
And not to make a delivery.
He hit a column, bounced off a column, went through the window of one of our tenants, knocked out some bricks. I mean. Anyway.
So.
All right, but we got a good topic today. I always reflect a lot on why more people aren't in commercial real estate. And today we want to talk about, your best investment or your biggest asset for most people is what?
It's their,
it's their home.
Yep. It's their personal house.
And so I got to thinking, maybe some people don't understand commercial real estate because the only way they have to relate to it is the only real estate that they've ever purchased, which is their primary residence. Mm-hmm. And, most people, what do? They put a down payment of about, 10 or 20% down. And then they have to make a mortgage payment every month. And then, so they think in terms of, man, real estate's expensive. I got to make mortgage payment every month. Where's that money coming from?
We've got taxes.
They got to pay taxes. They've got to get insurance. They've got to, replace and maintain the HVAC and the plumbing. And they've got to pay to cut the grass and maintain the lawn. Yeah. And every once in a while, they got to paint the exterior and put on a new roof. And it all gets so expensive. So yes, is it a great investment? Down the road, that house is going to be worth double what they paid for it. Yeah. But in their mind, it's not that great of an investment. Even though it may be the best one they've ever made, it's still not that great because all they've done is handle hassle and problems and pump money into this asset in order to keep it going up in value.
I can tell you in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the way houses go up pretty slowly here, it's going to take you a long time to double your money, right? I mean, around here, they go up 2 or 3% a year.
Yeah, lately we had a good run, but maybe it doubles in 20 years.
I can tell you, I've lived in Tulsa all my life. I've probably bought, 5 or 6 houses. And what you're saying is right. If you own a house that long that you want to make good profit, you also have to renovate the inside, right? Because now your house is 15 or 20 years old maybe, and it's time that, all the fixtures need to be changed because gold's the new thing. There's a new countertop that you need in your kitchen. So there's another $30,000, $40,000. So it's a hassle, man.
I think here you said something that was, I think, really crucial is the asset, right? So let's define what an asset versus a liability is. I mean, to me, people think, some exotic car, some of these, their personal home, maybe assets. The Rolex in their safe is an asset. That's not an asset.
Well, it can be technically an asset. I think they define an asset as anything that has net worth contributing to or has value contributing to your net worth. It's worth more than you owe, so there's technically an asset piece to that.
We need more. I need more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for me, a liability, we'll just start there, is something that I have to pay for every single month. If I get to enjoy it, or even if I don't enjoy it, every month or every quarter, there's an annual expense associated with that liability. Same thing on an asset, right? I want my assets to pay me. I don't just want the value intact. That's like the bare ass minimum for anywhere where money goes, right? You need to have the value intact, but it needs to pay you, right?
Yeah. So at least your house is retaining value. If you have fancy cars or jewelry or whatever, those things are just going to go down in value.
Yeah, but it's really, most people's personal home is an asset and a liability. It's an asset in the form of, it's an investment, it's growing in value, but personally, they're also using it, so it's a liability. They're having to pay for the taxes, the insurance, all the upkeep. So people don't think of it as, man, I'll just buy another house because
it's so easy.
Yeah, they think,
it's such a good investment. It's not good enough to motivate them because of the experience of having to pay for all of that.
Yeah,
and it's not going up. What if we? So think about this. What if we said, hey, I've got a house you can buy. And it's going to take the exact same down payment that you put in, percentage-wise or amount, that you put into buying your home. Exact amount. Only this time, you're not going to pay a mortgage payment. There's no mortgage payment required to buy this asset. Okay, this house. You don't have to pay for the taxes. You don't have to get insurance. You don't have to pay for the maintenance. You don't have to do the maintenance. You don't have to mow the yard. You have to no responsibilities.
You don't even get a phone call when something goes wrong.
Don't even get a phone call when something goes on. And not only is the loan on that going to be paid down just like your personal home, but it's also going to double in value just like your personal home. All the good things with your home investment, we're going to deliver to you without any of the negative. Yeah. What if I said that I had a house ready to go? And here's the thing, it gets even better, is on your down payment, I'm going to pay you a return on the down payment every year in your pocket. Without you paying a mortgage payment, without you paying taxes, without you paying insurance, without you doing anything.
And you don't have to sign a personal guarantee for the
you're not even on the hook for the debt. And so really what we want to try to do is reframe people's minds on how they think about real estate and get them away from something that's expensive, something that takes a lot of work, something that has a lot of risk, and show them the model that we have, which we're going to discuss more today, which is getting involved in commercial real estate. And so why on a commercial real estate, don't you have a mortgage payment? You invested the down payment, but don't you have a mortgage payment?
You do have a mortgage payment, but somebody else is paying it for you.
Somebody else pays it.
So think about a rental house. If you buy a rental house and you have a renter in there, are you really making the mortgage payment? No, the renter is, and they're probably making more money than the mortgage payment. They're probably paying a little bit extra for maintenance. They're probably paying a little bit extra for profit. So it's paying the mortgage payment and there's cash flow, right? It's huge.
Yeah, and that same example, depending on the metrics of that single family home, you still are going to have the problem of going out and finding that rental property, making sure it's a good investment, all the risks associated with the condition of the home when you buy it. Then you have to wait and get a renter. How long does that take? What if the tenant doesn't pay you? Now you're going to have to go evict him. How do I do that? How do I evict somebody?
Trash your house.
They may trash it. You're going to have to remodel it when they move out. All the things start adding up.
It takes a lot of time.
You have to, even if the tenant's paying some of it, you have to go get insurance on that house. You've got to make sure the real estate taxes are paid.
Yeah. Wait. It's 2 a.m. and my toilet's clogged. Yeah. Brian, can you come unclog it for me? Pass on all that. Yeah.
Well, a side note, people used to tell me all the time when I started buying houses that I was going to be fixing toilets at 2 a.m. I'm like, when's the last time you took a shit at 2 a.m.? Never. Okay. That's why they don't break, is people don't use them in the middle of the night. They are sleeping. Yeah. But anyway, that's a side note. Okay. So that's really what we're talking about, guys. We want to change your thinking about commercial real estate. We at commercial real estate, you invest, let's say $50,000 with us, that can be a portion of the down payment.
Right.
Maybe the total down payment's more than that, but that doesn't matter. We're going to pay a return on that money. We're going to go buy real estate with it. And that real estate's going to increase in value without you doing anything.
Yep.
You don't have to get the tenant. We don't even have to get the tenant. We'll have professional management coming to get that tenant. The tenant is going to pay for that mortgage, or the tenants, they're going to pay the mortgage. They're paying down that loan. You're getting richer.
They're paying the property taxes.
Paying the property taxes.
They're paying the insurance.
Yep.
They're paying you a fee so you can pay those things.
They're paying you maintenance. Yeah. Through CAM. Yeah.
And then we're using economies of scale in order to hire these management companies, because we have, let's say 200 units in an apartment building, or we have 15 tenants in a multi-tenant strip center. And so really all the work that you or people associate with real estate goes out the window because it's all covered. And guess who's paying for it? The tenants. That's the magic of it. They're not only paying all the expenses, but they're also paying you a return on your invested dollars.
Right.
And so you wake up, let's say I buy a $5 million commercial building, and maybe it's a $1 million commercial building, because then the down payment's only $200,000. Okay, 2 or 3 people could come up with that. Well, what happens over 20 years, 25 years? That's paid down to zero.
Mm-hmm.
You get a return every year on your $200,000 invested. You get a return of 10, 15, 20% on that, cash flow wise. And guess what? In 20, 25 years, that's not worth $1 million. That's worth $3 million.
Plus, like Brian was talking about, appreciation, like even let's just use 2 or 3% a year on the total $1 million property value. That's 3% on $1 million property value, not 3% on your $200,000 investment. So the entire property is appreciating, even though you only put a tiny percentage of cash in there, and your bank rate is fixed. You can leverage it up way more than you think you can. Yeah. And with commercial property, you can actually continue to leveraging that. How many people do you know that got into rent houses and they couldn't buy more?
Yeah,
they got told no.
Yeah, just think if you buy one, let's say it's probably kind of high, but $500,000 house, and you put down $50,000 and get a $450,000 loan, where you're just about maxed out. A lot of people are, right? You can't go buy another one because the bank won't loan you the money.
Yeah, a lot of times you can get 2, 3, 4 rentals. Now there are some caveats and ways around that, but generally speaking, you're going to have a harder time scaling the single family homes, right, where not only can we buy what the equivalent of 20 homes all at once in one property, but there's no limit to how many we can buy. They're not the deals that we're doing. The banks are looking at the ability of that property to pay it back. And so once we get another one, that we go to a new bank, hey, we've got a new property. They're looking at that property and our signature, and that's all we need to keep buying. And there's infinite scale.
Yeah. I actually think the competition to buy residential property and do what we're talking about
so much more
is harder than commercial property, buying commercial property. Because people I know that are trying to do it say they can't buy a house because there's so many people out there looking for it. They have real estate agents that know that they'll do this. And so before a house even goes on the market, they're calling other buyers. So I think it's pretty difficult to get into.
Well, I mean,
scale up, I should
think about how many people you know that could buy a $200,000 house, $150,000 house, $175,000 house. And now think about how many people you know that can buy a $5 million house. Mm-hmm. Can you think of any? Maybe a few. Yeah. I mean, that right there should tell you enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of people, they have a house and they have an extra, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 that's not invested in the market, let's say, but they're like, oh, I could go buy another house, but they're thinking, I don't want to go buy another house. That's a lot of work. Yeah. That's a lot of risk. Mm-hmm. Mortgage payments and real estate taxes. And what if the tenant moves out? All those things are keeping people from not investing in real estate. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to make it easy.
I'm just confused when you buy the house or you buy several houses, right? Because let's just consider average, serious investing age. I forget what level that was in our list, but let's just say you're investing maybe $100,000 a year after your lifestyle in retirement or some sort of investment vehicle. You've bought several houses, you're 40 to 50, and you've made great money on those houses. You had to have made great money on those houses. I don't understand the thought process of somebody going to one of the best investments they've ever made and then just saying, nah, let's buy Netflix stock or whatever it is. Or let's just put it in the market. Or, oh, there's this new crypto thing. It's like, you bought that house for way cheaper than you sold it. You borrowed most of the money at next to nothing. Mm-hmm. You lived in it. And like, just calculate your return. It was a great return. It's math. How much money did you make? How much money did you put in? How much money do you have now? It's a great return. But yet you're not going to do it again. And I get not wanting to buy rent houses because I don't want to buy rent houses. Find another investment vehicle in real estate.
It's similar, yeah.
Find another option. But buy real estate. It works for everyone. Think about how many people buy houses.
Yeah, Joel's the only one I know that was really successful in real estate, and then he went out and put it all in crypto. So.
God, what was I thinking? Well, anyway, we don't have to belabor the point. I think today was just getting people to think about what is probably their biggest investment and their biggest asset, which is their home, and how well that works for them, even with the downsides of the home, of having to make the mortgage payment yourself and having to put all that money in and renovating it and rehabbing it and maintenance and all that stuff. And we're saying, hey, if you will make the switch to commercial real estate, you don't have any of those expenses. The tenants pay down that mortgage for you. The property goes up in value because rents are going up. The tenants pay the taxes and the insurance and all the maintenance. And, we hire management companies to do all that for us. And so it really is, it's not risk-free, but it's a very low risk, no time requirement type of investment that can produce massive returns over time.
Yeah.
Specifically, I mean, how many deals have we bought this year? Five, 6, 7 deals, right? Most all of them are cash flowing. We're going to send out $350,000+ for the third quarter profit, cash flow. Our mortgages were paid. Our insurance was paid. Our taxes were paid. Everyone was paid. We built up cash for reserves. We reduced our debts, and we still made cash. And now we're distributing it out to our investors.
Did any of our investors do anything other than just what they normally do day to day?
No.
They're just going to get the check and cash it.
Didn't even call us.
No.
And so, guys, when you're driving around town, look around. Every commercial building that you're driving by, someone owns that and someone's making huge amounts of money on that, most likely. When I was a kid, before I knew people invested in real estate, it just never crossed my mind driving by a retail center, driving by apartments, thinking, how rich is the person that owns that? How much money is this making them every single month just by owning it? Yeah. They're in another state somewhere. They don't do anything and they get checks. Well, now we're those people and we help other people get those checks that invest with us. Yep. So every property you drive by is a profit center for somebody. And we want to get more people involved in that process rather than less.
Yeah. Well, if you're one of those people, go to howtoinvestinCRE.tv, go to the criterionfund.com. There's deals at precisionequity.com. There's several investor lists that you can sign up for, and we'll send you deals just like the ones we're talking about. And you can get those checks just like Joel's talking about. Join us.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.